Welcome to episode 67 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies, plus tips, apps, and gear. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and this week my returning guest is Bob Fairbairn, tech and audio consultant. How you doing, Bob?
I'm pretty good. It's a nice evening tonight, and fun to do another podcast with you, Dave.
Yeah, it's been fun. I just looked back. I couldn't remember when last time we did it, but it was like 7 episodes ago, so it's about 6-7 weeks since last time we did it. So glad you're back, and wanted to have you on because not only we're going to have lots of discussion in our Apple user group and about iOS 13 and iPad OS. Not a bad idea to share it with our listeners, to what our thoughts are so far on the beta of iOS 13 as we record this. Probably a few more weeks yet before it's going to get released. So we're going to look at that. And we've got some news stories, of course, as we always do. And got a couple app picks, so I think that'll be a pretty good filled hour to talk about all kinds of stuff relating to that iOS 13. Yes, let's just dig right into it here. First story that caught my eye was interesting. There was a story last week that somehow iOS 12.4 was jailbroken, which I was kind of surprised about. I'm assuming you were too, right?
It has been years since we've heard a real jailbreak. Yeah.
So it was a pretty bad one because it was, I mean, the hacker community was all over it and they did a good job of it. So Apple immediately took charge and they released 12.4.1, and the support document basically says it's security updates and stability updates, but let's just face it. It was a plug for the jailbreak.
Well, but also they updated everything.
Yeah, they went across the board.
Mac OS update, right?
Yeah, there was a Mac OS update. There was the TV OS was updated to 12.4.1. So was of course the iPad. So they went across the whole spectrum of updates. This was on the 26th, which was yesterday as we record this, and so they did that. So if you haven't already updated, we highly recommend that you go out and do it now because it is a security update. You don't want that plug. We don't want people getting into your phone and stuff. And it's a rare thing that's happened, and Apple's been pretty good at taking care of that stuff. So
I think they do a really good job, and and Google's doing a good job with their updates too. But we don't talk about them much here.
Yeah, Google, Google schmoogle. And then as we know, last week we mentioned in the last show that iOS 13 beta 8 was released to the developers and then just shortly after to the public. I figure, we got a couple days to beat up another beta, and you'd probably figure at least another one or two that are going to be out. So then what does Apple do today as we record this? They decide to surprise all of us and release a first beta of iOS 13.1 just to developers. Apparently, I've never seen Apple do this before. I'm assuming you're in the same boat as I am. And
nope.
And I was very surprised they did this. I mean, usually they release the new version and let it get out to the public, and then the next version will come just after. But now we've got 2 betas to test because more than likely what's going to end up happening is the iOS 13 is going to be the first release once it's announced and released. The 13.1 will still have a few weeks of testing. Right now, it's just developers. So if you're on the public beta, you will not be able to get it. And if you don't want to get it, you obviously have to ignore it and let beta 8 still stay installed on your devices. What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I'm guessing we're going to see 8, 9. We've got 8 now. We'll see 9 or 10 or 11.
Yeah, I'm thinking too.
Before September, I'm gonna bet there's at least 2 more. Here's the question: Are you gonna bet me whether they're going to release 13.0 or they're going to release 13.1?
That's what I'm kind of perplexed. Will they do it? I mean, it makes no sense to release 13.0 at this point if they have 13.1 already in the beta hopper. I would think.
Well, but no, it may or may not make sense. But one of the things that I think is happening, if you've been using the betas over the summer, I call it the summer of fun. Somebody else on the Relay FM does the summer of fun.
Yeah.
I'm using it as a not fun. And I'm just wondering if they've accelerated their development cycle further and they have a whole nother team on 13.1 and they're just gonna pump this stuff out and they're gonna go faster because we have a whole new operating system to talk about now.
That's true with iPad OS. Yeah.
So I don't know. A lot of common code, but
so interesting stuff. This article, of course, we've linked in the show notes. This is at Mac Rumors. Get you all the information about that. It's a short article, as well as the one about 12.4.1. And then the last story, which caught my eye, which is not more of a story, more of a thing I found, because I've been talking about the Apple Card the last few weeks. And I guess I'll give credit what credit's due. Is someone on, I think it was Renee Ritchie or one of them on Mac Break Weekly today uses as one of its picks of the week. It probably was Leo. You can buy Apple Card skins and wraps for the Apple Card, and I'm just shaking my head.
I had another name for them, but I won't use that on a family-friendly podcast.
Yeah, don't use anything bad, but it comes in all kinds of great colors, including Swarm and Matrix and Dragon and carbon fiber. And basically, what it is it's a skin that goes on the front and on the back of the card. And what did they do? It's made by a company called D-Brand, and it's still in pre-order, and it costs $4.95 for each side of your card. So,
but there was a whole article. Apple has an article about how to protect your card from getting scratched,
right? Which we talked about last week. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So. I'm betting that this is, hey, wait, we got a new marketing thing. And by the way, the D-Brand stuff has been good.
Yeah, they make good products.
They got the pencil wraps and all that. Mm-hmm. That stuff has been good. So anyway.
So, I actually hadn't had a lot of experience with this brand, but made with 3M products. Well, so it's got to be good, as they make great stuff. So, with adhesives and coverings. So, it's going to be interesting. This Apple Card stuff keeps evolving. I don't want to keep our Apple Card discussion to a minminimum, since we have for the last two episodes talked a lot about it. So
we got more fun stuff to talk about, right?
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and just go right into our topic. Our main one big topic for this week's episode is going to be iOS 13 and iPad OS. I just got an iPhone. I got it today, matter of fact, and I installed iOS 13.1 on the phone, so I don't have a lot of experience using it on the phone as of yet, because unlike you, I am not brave enough to be putting it on my production iOS iPhone device, but I have had it on my iPad, my first gen iPad Pro 12.9 inch, and I got the pencil for it because I didn't have it. I had to pick that up because I wanted to get the experience with that too. So now I've got both pencils. Call me crazy. But, but that's why we're Apple crazy geeks here.
Yeah, that's right.
So I wanted to have you on, and we'll just give us your first impressions. You also said there had been some nightmares, so let's kind of keep it. Let's keep this orderly here, and then just kind of start off with how's your experience been so far with iOS 13?
Well, so let's roll back to the first betas. So last year, when we were doing iOS 12, the betas were really solid and stable, and I went the whole summer on the betas, no problem. But this one has been much more problematic. I think there's a whole bunch of things that have changed underlying, and specifically where I've had a lot of trouble is with iCloud. And a bunch of other people have seen that iCloud not syncing right, iCloud photos not syncing right on one of my Macs, stuff like that. So I'm not only using iOS, I'm using the new Mac OS also. So I actually at beta 3 I rolled everything back, and then I just started back up again this last week on the beta. So I skipped.
So you rolled everything back to iOS 12?
Yeah, I rolled everything back to Mac OS, to Mojave, and to Mac OS. It was that unstable for me. And what it is I live on iCloud, and iCloud was not syncing right. Okay, and that just hurts too much. So from what I've seen in beta 7, most of the iCloud problems seem to have calmed down. They turned off some stuff and turned on some stuff, and feature-wise, and it's been 7 and 8 have been a lot more stable. one of the things that's unfortunate for me is my pick of app that we're talking about later on doesn't work right on iOS 13. I'm so upset because I love that app, but we'll save that one for later. So basically the problem I had was mostly around iCloud, and I just ran into a couple of macOS problems today, as a matter of fact. I could not drag a photo out of photos in the messages. It was giving me permission errors. So they've changed this underlying model in the Mac to where they're changing that to be more iOS like, to you can't access that folder, or you can't access that file. So there's some stuff going on there, and a lot of other people have talked about that. So this permissions model on Mac OS is changing, and I'm guessing it's going to be for the better, but it's going to be bumpy. And let's see, what was the other problem I had? Oh yeah, and the other thing that is a major change that makes it really hard if you're using iCloud is the new Reminders app. They're stored in a different manner on your devices in iCloud, and I love this new Reminders app. This thing is so nice. I love that a lot. So it does a whole bunch of new stuff. Not to it maybe doesn't replace OmniFocus for a lot of people, or more sophisticated applications such as that, but I'm all in on Reminders. I have been off and on for a while, and now with the way it's organized and stuff, it looks nice, it moves, its performance has been great, and it gives me just that extra little bit of functionality that you need for projects and things like that. Nicely done.
Okay. So you did it on both iPhone and iPad. You didn't mess around with tvOS or anything, did you?
If I broke the TV OS device on the family TV, I might not even get to sleep outside in the yard. I figured as much with that one. I didn't do watch either. I haven't done watch.
I'm not. Like I said, I don't do it on any of my production devices. I don't have an extra Apple Watch to laying around.
Yeah, so. and to highlight the risk of some of this stuff. So when I went from 12 to 13 and back to 12 again, I actually lost about a day's worth of health data out of my health stuff going back, because I didn't do it right. I don't know what I did wrong. And so I lost a little bit of data, and that was disappointing, because here's this long record of exercise, and now I don't have that continuous record anymore. So
that's why I always say buyer beware. Don't go into beta unless you are comfortable.
But
this stuff happens.
I know
we love it. I know
we love it. But so I still keep the iPad Mini and the 11-inch iPad Pro. Those are both on iOS 12, so I get to watch across it. And I'm other than that one app that I have trouble with, and a couple of the first few releases weren't stable, but now this beta 7, beta 8 have been a lot more stable. Please don't anybody use the betas unless you're doing the kind of stuff we're doing, but they're dramatically more stable now, in my opinion. So
that's good. That's good to hear, because I know it's been a bit of a challenge for some people, but I've been hearing a lot more better things about iPad over iPhone. Many friends I've talked to have been happy. How are you seeing? We could kind of transition over. We can let's talk about iPad OS, because that's going to be probably a bigger topic here. And what experience has been so far? Because like I said, I've talked to a number of people, and they said that, boy, this thing is solid. But what do you think?
Well, 7 and 8 have been solid for me. Pretty solid. I have a couple of. Have I put in any radars feedbacks? I have one feedback. It's a minor one on beta 8 that I haven't put in yet. I found it today, to me, the biggest thing is what they've done to Safari. Okay. Oh my goodness. There's so many things that Safari does. And today, it's a matter of fact, getting ready for this podcast is something that happened, and I don't know whose fault it is. So I am in Safari, and I cut a copied a URL and I couldn't paste it into our document. I don't know what was going on, and maybe it's Google Docs. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So I haven't had a chance to do a screen video and that kind of stuff and test it to give before I put in the feedback. So I have about 10 feedbacks in, and they have. This is something I think is really important. I think I've had 5 response. I've about 10 feedbacks between Mac OS, iOS, and iPad OS. And I've been getting responses from the developers, and they're asking me questions and retest and get more data. So put that feedback in. It helps.
Yeah, well, absolutely. If you're a beta tester, and I think some of you are, and not very many are, and yes, be active with that, because it just helps the product get better. So when you talk about Safari, I know the biggest thing that stood out for Safari and when the announcements came out at WWDC was the fact that it's going to be a desktop-based browser by default, which is awesome. And that's really what an iPad is, especially on a 12.9-inch screen like this one I have. I mean, I have the 11-inch Pro, and both I think is important, because there's websites I go to all the time. It's like, God, this is a pain. Now I gotta do a link and make sure it goes to the right site and doesn't go to the mobile site. And because now that's how a lot of websites are set up for, is when they send you have a mobile device, it goes right to the mobile site. Well, now the browser's set that way to not do that.
Right. And so to me, is a couple of things that just stand out. One of the first ones is the download manager. Okay.
Yes.
You can actually just download a file, save it, put it where you want it. And again, that's why I want iCloud Drive and the Files app and all that stuff working. That is just really, really marvelous. Now, not every website is happy with it yet. There's a couple that have. It's new. I have a couple of websites that just don't work with it, and you report it, and so somebody knows. And it just works. That's the cool part. It's hey, my iPad is a real computer now, because the web browser works like we want it to. And for so many people, to me is the biggest deal.
Yeah. Oh, and I agree with that, because it was always a pain to manage any downloads. You're trying to get a PDF file, you want to download it somewhere, you got to go through with the smart sheet, and you have to navigate around, and that is great. I really am. I've been very pleased with the way the menus are set up now. When you go up to the smart sheet button now, it brings you down to not only the places you want to share, but it also brings down the in the browser itself, with the add to reading list and add to favorites, all that is all in one place. Because before it was in multiple places. And then another thing too is, like you said, there's edit actions. You actually can go in there and actually customize the actions, which is I'm floored that it can do that, because just like what they did in the control center, where you can add and remove things in there. They added that exact same design in the browser, which is awesome. And again, we're definitely don't fret. We're just talking at the beginning stages of all the new stuff that's out. Don't worry, we're going to be really covering iOS 13 pretty heavily in the next few episodes.
Oh, so This is sort of. That's a really good appetizer, Dave. What's the main course?
Yeah, exactly. So
there's another thing that I think, and it's the way the home screen works now. Okay, and so you can have the list of reminders and all that stuff up there on the left hand side, and then when you rotate the screen, the icons stay in the same location. So whether it's in portrait or in landscape, all the icons are in the same place. They don't rearrange. Does that help? Of course, I don't know about you, but I'm probably 95% in landscape mode with the smart keyboard attached. That's how I use it a lot, especially since my primary one is the 12.9. And so my experiment this summer has been with that is I have not broken out a Mac laptop all summer until yesterday. Okay. And so my desktop is in the basement. my iPad's with me wherever I go, and I have specifically not gotten the laptop out so I could just use the iPad. And with the new Safari and the way things are organized, it's been almost perfect. I went on vacation with my camera and photography and all that stuff with just the iPad, and it worked. It did what it was supposed to do. All right. So this is for me, Mr. iPad guy. I'm happier than I ever have been.
And I think a lot more people are going to be happier. I mean, I go back 5 years ago when I spoke at MacStock for the first time and did a presentation on, well, it wasn't the first year, it was the second year. Could your iPad be your full-time computer? Everybody was skeptical. When I did that discussion, but it's getting really close. It really is.
Well, so what's interesting in my technology consulting business, I have a lot of older folks that I work with, and as their computers get older, we make conscious decisions there where they're going, and I'm saying it's between 50-50 and 60-40 either way. Yeah. They either get a Chromebook or we get them an iPad, okay? Because they don't want to manage the device anymore,
right?
Okay. And what was really interesting, one of them just the other day, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. She had a Windows machine and she had an iPhone, and she got back from her vacation. She came back and I said, go to the store, look at the iPad. She came home with the iPad, the Windows machine's put away, and she goes, it really does work like my phone, only it's bigger and it's better and it's faster. And she's all excited, and it's like, and it just works. And I go, right. That's what I told you. It just works. and what she bought was the new iPad Air. Okay. Right. And because she doesn't need any more than that. And for the price, the performance of that. And when iOS 13 hits, she's going to be even happier. So, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Big deal.
100%. Yeah. Keyboards, that's improved. Have you used, but again, you use the,
I use the Folio keyboard most of the time.
Folio keyboard, right?
Okay. But on the iPhone, to have what do they call it? It's not swipe. Apple has a name for it.
Well, Apple, Touch ID.
We're on the keyboard. You swipe your finger around on the keyboard.
Yeah, the swipe keyboard. I can't remember.
Yeah, but it's not swipe, because swipe was the old days. They have something else they called it. So, but that really works very well, and it's gotten a little bit better over time. Maybe I'm getting better at doing it.
Yeah.
But you can quote type a lot faster, at least on the XS Max with that. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, those in itself are some of the features. Split screen, that's getting better support. Have you played with that much?
A little bit, but you know what I use is just take them and slide them off to the side. So I got 4 or 5 of them stacked off on their sleeve.
Yeah, slide over.
I'm slide over. I love that. That's what I use that a lot more than split screen myself. The thing I can't get in the habit of, and I know I could do it, is multiple instances of the same app on a split screen side by side. So 2 notes, 2 whatever. I haven't gotten into doing that yet, and I think it's just I don't have it's not in my brain to do it yet. I can't. Anyway.
Then I know, and then for those of you who do, you still use the Mac, and many of us still do, of course. Sidecar is going to be a great new added feature, allowing you to be able to extend your display without having to use a third party device.
Yep. That's why I got a laptop out yesterday. So I put the laptop on, and so I've got the 12-inch MacBook and
Catalina
and the 9.5 or the 12.9 iPad right next to each other, and it's so cool. You just boom, and it's and
then the other thing too, we're going to talk about this more later, but I just have one. I'm just excited enough to tell everybody about it. Is just the fact that you will be able to use the Apple Pencil with apps that are on the Mac on your iPad, which include Illustrator, Affinity Photo, even Final Cut Pro, which would be pretty awesome. And Sketch is another one that would be out there as well.
Yeah, and you can use it as kind of like a mouse now. So when that's up on the iPad, the UI works a little differently. So it takes some getting used to, but
Yeah.
it does the job beautifully. And yes, you can see just a tinge of lag when it's happening, but it's so little that it's wonderful. And with it effectively gives me a much better computer when I've got that 12-inch MacBook, which has such a small screen. It
Yeah.
just, oh wow, I am very pleased with that.
And I've talked about this before when beta first came out, is the Files app is just phenomenally big changes, including the iCloud Drive folder sharing. And now you can share an entire drive with somebody. Hello, that's been like way overdue. And then external drive support. You can plug in a USB drive, SD card, or hard drive, and as long as it doesn't require a lot of power, it should recognize it. I've tried it a bunch of times. It's different thumb drives. It really depends on the thumb drive and what it needs as far as connection, but it works. And then they also provided a downloads folder now in iCloud Drive. So when you download something, oh, hey, it's a downloads folder, just like on the Mac. Remember how difficult it was to try to find files? We deal with that all the time. So adding even more additions to support with files, and again, these are things we've been waiting for a while to make this really a replacement to your Mac. So it's just really just some great stuff with that too. What other things? I know HomeKit's going to have some updates, security. I know you can do secure video through HomeKit now, and there's a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to go too deep in a lot of this stuff because again, it's going to be going. But dark mode is the other thing that everybody was excited about. You said you don't like. Do you do or do not like dark mode?
I'm hot and cold on dark mode. There's sometimes I really like it, and there's sometimes like on mail for some reason. I don't know. I used it for a while. I got out of using it, and now I have to go back and try it some more, just to see if it feels better. It really does. It really does. It's more comfortable for short periods of time, I think.
Yeah. And the big thing that everybody was making a big, huge deal out of the fact that you actually can use a mouse. It's mouse support, and it is buried in accessibility. You have to go to settings, accessibility, touch, assistive touch, then turn on assistive touch. And then you can program the individual pointer by going into the pointing buttons, it's just like a archaic way they've set it up so far. Because I don't think they're really standing this out to make it something that everybody wants to do. They want it for somebody who has accessibility issues with their hands, and they find that the mouse would be a better choice for an input device as opposed to touching it on the screen, I think.
Yeah. The other thing that it does is for people who have some stress motion, repetitive motion type issues. It really does help with that. And there's a bunch of stuff you can do with Siri and with shortcuts to automatically turn it on and off, things like that. It's gotten a little bit better. It works a little bit better on the later ones. I have been meaning to go buy a mouse to dedicate to it, and I haven't picked one yet. So
I used the Logitech. I don't remember one of the small Logitech Bluetooth mice. It worked great.
Yeah. I'm fussing over which one what I'm going to do. I might try it with, just because I have a spare one of the Apple, the Apple mice. I might just try it with one of those for a while and see, because I have a spare one of those running around. I don't know. The Logitech ones that have all the buttons might be interesting to be able to use the buttons for some other things, because you can do a whole bunch with shortcuts and all of that. I think for now, it is going to help people who need that help out a lot. So you can get that iPad up on a stand in front of you, so it's sitting right, so you're ergonomically set up right, and use the mouse and a keyboard flat on the desk and that kind of thing. What I want to do, and I'm going to, and now to even think about it, I'm going to use my spare Apple, aluminum keyboard and a spare mouse, and I'm going to set up a workstation just that way, and then just take my iPad and put it in there and try it. I'm going to go set that up and try it. I'm going to do that.
The other thing that's out there is the pin. The Today View now is able to be pinned to the screen in landscape mode. We didn't talk about that. You're able to now do that, which is really cool. So now it can be pinned, and then all your icons stay off to the right, and then the Today View is on the left.
Yep.
That's in landscape mode. And the 12.9 inch, I tell you that you got a ton of real estate to be able to do that. Yes. The 11 inch, I haven't tried it yet. Did you try it on 11 inch?
I have not put my 11 inch on iOS 13, so
okay.
I don't have done that. Yeah.
The dock has pretty much stayed the same as it is in iOS 12 on the iPad. So. Nothing's really changed on that. I'm excited. I think it's going to have a lot of great things. And again, we'll be talking more and more once it comes out.
Right.
Because we can sit here and talk about it, and no one can try it.
The other thing we glossed over a little bit, Dave, was the multi-windows.
Go ahead. Okay.
The multi-window. Most Apple apps and developers apps, you can now have multiple windows. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what you could do I think it's just really cool. You can take let's say you've got your task manager app and you have a document in Pages as an example or whatever. And you can have those two sitting up side by side in split view. And then you can go and open another Pages app, another instance of Pages, and work on another document, and then go back to that document that you worked on before, and you'll still have that pairing up. And that multi-view thing, I think that's the people who are moving really fast on an iPad, they're gonna like that a lot. I think that's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. So, let's kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about the iPhone a little bit. Again, like I said, I've only started playing with it today, so I haven't had much time with it. But I've had a good amount of time with it before. What kind of stands out on what the iPhone's going to get as far as improvements?
Well, I've been playing a little bit with Maps, and there's something that I haven't. It's still wrong. Oh, another.
Another bug.
Let me see something here. Hang on.
They've changed the layout.
The Maps app is really cool, but the underlying data is still screwed up.
Is it? Okay.
Interesting. It thinks my house is still. Oh, actually, I'm 5 minutes away from home in my basement. No. Anyway, the Maps app. I haven't used it a lot. That's a bug I've been reporting to Apple for a while now. I can't use anyway. What was I going to say? Let's see. Well, of course, reminders. The thing is, I'm so there's some new photo editing. What have I done that's iOS?
Oh yeah, the camera. The camera's had some updates with the portraits.
Yeah, the camera's got a bunch of updates. The photos has a bunch of updates. The camera. There's oh golly, there's so much. Shortcuts, of course. What else was there? There was something else that was really cool on the iPhone, and I don't remember what it was.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to me anyway. It's faster. That was the thing that's just amazing.
I'm noticing it. Yeah.
You touch it stuff, and it's faster. That was and it the 10s Max, it unlocks amazingly fast on FaceTime on Face ID, and it's gotten even better. I can't show you here, but I've been using a thing called a pop socket on the back of my phone.
Okay. Yeah.
I have this little hanger in my car, which is hooks on the pop socket, and so it sits in the center console, vertically and on the dash, and I can just turn my head and flip it, and it'll unlock from that angle. I've never been able to do that before, and that's just wonderful. There was something with audio that was interesting the other day, and I forgot what that was. Don't remember. Anyway, battery life has been fine on the recent betas. The early betas, the battery life was pretty bad, but now I think the battery life is fine. So,
as you mentioned, the sharing, the activity views. That's another change, and it's going to have a new name. Activity views, as opposed to formerly known as the share sheet, has been overhauled.
Yes. Yes.
And that was what I just talked about earlier. And it's laid out so much nicer. And you said Siri and shortcuts. I think the speech has been improved.
It sounds better. Yes.
Siri will now be able to tune into radio station streams. That's awesome. I love doing that. Mm-hmm. So you got some of those features sticking out.
Sorry, I can't create a station based
and
on
I should not have said Siri because the HomePod just went off. Text selection has gotten better. It's touch and hold to begin selecting text. And you can double tap a word, triple tap a word. That's gotten a lot better. So I tell you, this version, it was like going from iOS 10 to iOS 11. That was a huge jump. 12 was just basically just fixes, updates. This 13, this is big. There's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the share suggestions bar across the top. So when I'm sharing stuff with people, right, it gives it shows you, well, you've shared this with David and you've shared this with Larry or whoever, and they're all right there. So it's so much faster to do that.
This is huge. I didn't even realize this one is AirPods. You can now pair up to 2 sets of AirPods to one device, and you can listen both at once. What a concept! You don't have to have a stupid dongle to hook up two headphones so you can share it with your wife, right?
Yes, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. And augmented reality is going to be a huge thing that's coming. They haven't really done much to talk about that. So it just, there's just so much other they're renaming the Find My iPhone and Find My Friends apps has now been combined into one app called Find My app.
Silly name.
So it's still kind of silly. Yeah, I agree. And the HomePod's going to be able to be distinguished. It'll be able to distinguish between the voices of family members. So you'll have some bonus stuff with that. It just goes on and on. And as weeks go by here, we'll dig in and get a lot of these features. Of course, you can go to Apple's website right now, and it has all the preview information right now. What's going to be available.
And what's really interesting is how long that page scrolls.
Yeah, I'll put the links to both of that and both of those into in the show notes. And it's going to continue to evolve, and we'll have to break this up into multiple episodes while we talk about everything that's been coming out here. So,
the thing that I kind of want to highlight a little bit that we kind of glossed over at the beginning is the fact that iPad OS is now its own operating system,
right?
And it makes me more confident that Apple is going to keep it updated and treat it as its own entity. And it's not just another iOS device. Yep. It's not just a big iPhone. And wow, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. iPad OS is really distinguishing the differences between the two OSs now. It's truly its own operating system. So when you go through all the other operating systems that are now, they're still kind of calling it iPad OS 13. So because it does have pretty much the like things that the iPhone does as well, but the iPhone does its thing and the iPad does its thing. So that was really what it really had to jump out and distinguish what's available on it. So. Scroll through that list. You'll see a lot of the new features that are already in there. I'm going to start highlighting some of these new things in future episodes so we can really go through a lot of these things. Oh yeah, emojis and all that. It's going to be a big thing. And then don't forget also, we have a few weeks away. We're thinking the date is September 10th as we record this. Thursday of this week, 2 days from this recording, we're going to find out if Apple sends out the invitations to their next event. It seems likely that that's going to happen, and obviously we'll be back here to tell you all about it and find out about all the new iPhones that are more than likely getting released. We're pretty solid on iPhones, that's for sure. That always happens every year.
Yeah.
I tend to doubt there's going to be new iPads. I mean, they're still they just revamped that line not too long ago with the new Air, and you got the iPad 9.7 inch, which is still fine. And I think the model line, the product line for iPad is pretty solid, and the Mini, of course, which has been pretty popular. Obviously, you love yours, so
yeah, I do.
So you have that going on. So there, but I just we're gonna keep going on here.
Well, the only question is there going to be a new watch?
Yeah, I think I'm on the fence to thinking whether or not if there is going to be one or not. I mean, it's just really hard to say that if they will or not. I mean, it would make sense only because keep consistent in what they do with iPads and iPhones and iPhones. So
I don't know.
But the Series 4 watch is solid. I just don't. If they obviously can make it with WatchOS 6. They're going to make this thing even more a great device.
Yeah, I skipped the 4. My wife and I both have 3s, and I've been really tempted by the 4s. But it's don't buy it now, Bob. Don't buy it now.
Yeah, well, not me. Now we both have 4s now, so.
Okay.
But they're both, and we're loving them. And there was an I forgot the interesting article I was going to talk about. We probably should find. If I should find that, I'll put that in the show notes. Was the fact that there was rumors saying that Apple was looking to potentially have iPhones have the capabilities of being walkie-talkies. At a local level. Did you read that article?
No, I didn't. There was a rumor, and then the rumor that came out said, but it's on the shelf for now or something.
But they put it on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
But that's what's great about the Apple Watch is the fact that you have that capability of walkie-talkie feature. But I don't think you have that on the Series 3, right?
It's there. It's there.
Oh, it is there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's there. I can't get anybody to use it, but it's there.
Yeah. I got the link to that article in the show notes. So it looks like 9 to 5 Mac talked about it, and a couple others. So be aware of that as well. So that they have been thinking about it. So Apple is continuing to evolve with a lot of these things that are out there with technology, and rightfully so. They should keep going with it. So you really just really can't stop the way technology is going. So
no, they're moving. They're still moving fast. What I'm really happy to see them do, though, is this leveling of the playing field where more and more of the functionality is available everywhere. So we've got almost identical functionality, say, in Keynote on the Mac and Keynote on iPad, where they're getting closer and closer and closer to each other, so that you're treating these operating systems and applications as equal parity. And I love that.
Oh yeah, 100%. So do you have anything else you wanted to touch on with iOS 13 as we had this topic?
I would say that if you were on the fence about buying a laptop or an iPad, you could get off the fence now. You could buy an iPad with iOS 13.
Right.
With iPad OS 13. There are a couple of minor bumps in the road, but really, it's there. It's made it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's, like I just said a few minutes ago, iPads are solid, so I don't think you have to worry about anything at all. So,
nope.
All right. Well, let's go right into our picks, and we gave you a lot of tips and items that were going on with iOS 13. So for this week, we're just going to go right into the picks. Bob, I'm gonna let you go first since you got a really good one, and tell listeners what this app's all about.
I was listening to another podcast and I forgot which one, and they interviewed the guy who's the CEO or whatever of this company. So there's a company called Universe. It's called Universe. Mm-hmm. It's an iOS app, and the website is on universe.com, and it's in the show notes. And basically what it is a lovely, simple methodology to build a website on an iOS device. You can build it on your iPhone, you can build it on your iPad, That's the only place you can build it. They have free sites and they have paid for sites. I have built a couple of them already. Yes, I have found some issues. You find issues everywhere, but it's really easy to use. And if you want a quick website up to show some pictures or to tell a quick story or whatever it happens to be, this is the way to go. It is so fast and so easy, and right from your pants pocket or your purse or whatever. It's right there on your iPhone, and you can start it out for free. You don't have to give them any money. So it's the Universe app, and it's on universe.com is where it's at. So
now, have you built a website out with it at all?
Yeah. So if you scroll down on the show notes, I added my ham radio website is built on Universe.
You are a jack of all trades.
Yeah. So fire it up and look on it.
Yeah, let me take a peek here. It seems like a really cool.
And it's anybody can build a website.
Yeah,
anybody can build one.
It's a simple website.
Yep. Well, but it's actually not as simple as you think it is.
Okay.
It can do a lot more. It's really amazing at what it can do, but it's so easy to use. And
this was all built on an iPhone or an iPad, right?
iPhone or an iPad. Does not work right on iOS 13 yet.
Okay.
So, yep.
So that's the thing you got to worry about when you have apps. That's why you wait.
and okay, so there's a downside to it, right? The downside is just suppose they go away, you lose your website. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of worry about that. It's kind of like with Squarespace or with WordPress. I don't think those two are going anywhere anytime soon. But
yeah, well, it's all of this stuff is ephemeral, and not everybody is going to build their own. But if you have a little family event or a little whatever it happens to be,
if it's not a critical site.
This is perfect. Or hey, I'm doing this thing. So what I'm getting back into ham radio some more. So I'm putting all the stuff I'm doing on ham radio on that website.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yep.
The links out there in the show notes as well.
Yep.
My pick was, and actually I just kind of stumbled across it yesterday because I was working on some other podcasting stuff I'm doing with my other podcast, trying to do some show notes and stuff. I want to get some templates is Medium. I mean, the website Medium is been around for a long time. You obviously can set that up so you can customize it for different like news topics and such. And it looks like a lot of content providers like to use Medium as a place to publish their articles directly, so they can showcase their wares. Have you used Medium before?
A little bit, not much. I read articles on it, but I've never used their app.
Yeah, I mean the app is just as straightforward as using the web as far as that goes. I mean, you just set up an account and it's a news aggregator. But the thing is, you can customize it to the topics you wanted to read very simply, and it shows you what's popular. Like I've got it broken down to technology and media, music, that kind of stuff, and it's very simple. They have a great little app, and it's nothing crazy. And check it out. It's iPad or iPhone, and it's free, which is great. We like free. Yeah. Just check it out. So
does it sync your reading between your devices?
I haven't tried that yet. Like I said, I just stumbled across it yesterday. I have to get back to you on that one. But
okay, well, another segment.
Yes, for sure. With that, I think we've really talked about what we wanted to talk about this week, and I want to thank you for coming on to the show again. And why don't you tell people where everybody can find you? I know you got everything in the show notes, but where's the best place to find you and how to get a hold of you?
So you can go to bobfa.me. You can there, Bob Fairbairn on Twitter. And the two websites are bobfairbairn.com, smartercats.com. So the two businesses I have. And my ham radio call sign is Kilo Echo 9 Alpha, and you can find me there on ke9a.com. So
there we go. All the links will be in the show notes. Appreciate you coming back on the show. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for inviting me again.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, or you can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and TuneIn Radio. Or better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Thank you again, Bob, for being here.
Good night, Dave. Have a good evening.
You as well, and thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.